All right, time to start looking at some specific applications. We're going to start with documents. I thought I'd start with a list of ways that teachers and students can use documents. So let's start with teachers. We can collaborate and share curriculum plans. So instead of the giant pile of resources in the faculty workroom, now we can share links and put them all in one place, all in one document together. We can have a running list of faculty minutes instead of separate documents which are thrown in folders and then never found again. A document that's actually usable for teachers to search the entire thing very quickly. They can find benefits in the notes that were actually taken. And then they can, of course, work with students in those last two ways. And then a couple ways that students can use documents. Not only can we work together, we can also work together on peer editing, not just completing the paper together, but helping each other out. We can do running logs, can be the new journal, and now we don't have to just work at school, we can work at home as well. All right, let's get into it. So, a couple ways to create a new document. In the Drive video, we talked about this, right? We can go to Create Document. If you're already in one, working on one, a way to create one is through File, New Document. So that's another way. Something that we should probably make a habit right away is renaming it appropriately. A couple ways to rename. We can do File, Rename. I think that's the long way. Instead, we can just hover over the name up here. I'm going to call this Documents Practice 1. Sure. So then I rename it. It's going to show up that way in my list. We can see right here. Now, it's really important to stress that with students. I had students who had probably 20 untitled documents because they just never got around to renaming it. I told them it would probably make their lives easier if they did rename, and they continued to think they had a better system. So it's good to get in that habit and get students in that habit as well. So that's how we name it. Next, you could talk about how do we save it. We discussed this in another video. Of course, Google's constantly saving things. All changes saved. I start typing, saving, typing, saving. I stop, and all changes are saved, right? So don't really have to worry about saving because we know Google is doing that every few seconds. All right, let's talk about collaboration. So how do we work with people? To collaborate with someone else, obviously you have to share that document with them so they can work with you. And within sharing, I mentioned this in the Drive videos, but I think it's important to say again, there are two ways to share. There's visibility, and then there's collaborators. The first, visibility, is up top here. I have it set as private right now, but I can make that either public on the web so anyone could find it. Anyone with a link, which means they won't be able to search and find it, or I can leave it private. If you're signed into an apps domain, you're gonna have I think 2 more options, which include like anyone within the domain, and maybe anyone in the domain with the link, something like that. So you'll have a few more options if you're logged into your school apps account. So that is visibility, and then underneath we have collaborators. So what I'm gonna do is go into the add people there. I'm going to add my school email. I'm going to leave myself as an editor. Remember, I can change the level of access they have, but I'll leave myself as an editor. I hit share and save. Now I'm a collaborator. And now we can start working together, me and my school account. So there are a couple of ways to collaborate. First is, now that I've shared it with my school account, which I have up over here, and the doc is now in my list. If I open it, as soon as I open it, you're going to see that this one other viewer pops up. And that is my school account. So I can chat down the side here, and it'll pop up there, and this person can chat back. What I want to show you is, what if someone tries to chat with me and I don't have this expanded? Well, let's take a look. That starts to flash, so hopefully we'll see that. And so chatting is one way to collaborate, a way to talk about what we're working on together without having to write in the doc. So that, aside from chatting, we can work on it at the exact same time within the doc. So I can still edit while many of us are logged in, but I can also, collaborators can also work on it. right? Collaborator working on this. And I can see that in real time as it's happening, which is pretty ridiculous. So we can work on it together at the same time. The next way we can collaborate, so those two I think are more synchronous at the same time. I think one good way for asynchronous work is through the comments. And I use this with students when they would share a paper with me. I wanted to comment, but I didn't want to interrupt them as they were working. What I can do is, highlight a word. I can insert comment. There's a shortcut for that. And I can say something like check spelling. And I can comment on it. And it pops up over here as a comment. I can also do things like, near the end of a paragraph, I can say something like check main idea in paragraph, things like that. So now I'm commenting. I'm not, bothering the student. I'm not interrupting the student. Let's stop this flashing. And we're still working collaboratively, but now it's a little more asynchronously. The student can then go in here, and let's say my school account is the student. The student can go in and can comment back, ask a question about something, and once they do that, you'll see it pops up there, and I can answer back, and etc. But a student can also go in, and once I click on this, you'll see I can either comment back or I can resolve the comment altogether. So I can resolve it as the teacher, or I'll resolve this one over here. The student can also resolve it. Now, the great thing about comments is I always liked a running log of what I had said to the student and what they had said back. Is I have this comments dialog which archives the entire comments discussion basically. Chat is not archived. When we both leave, that'll be lost. But comments aren't lost, and it's archived over here. So I can see what was happening throughout the creation of the paper. The other part I like is under comments, up top here we have notification settings. I can basically have it shoot me an email if a student has replied back to me, or the options you see here. Now this is great because, like I said, students can work on it at night now, and a student found one of my comments, responded back to me, and that night, when I sat down with my computer, I noticed she had asked a question, so I responded back, and now we're working together asynchronously outside of the school hours, which I think is pretty cool. And like I said, it stores that whole dialogue. So we have chat, we have in-text work together, we have comments. Now in the past, if I was working with someone and I wanted to, and I made a change, I would have to email out the new one and say, hey, can you guys check this over? Docs makes it simple. What I can do is just file, email collaborators, and right from the doc, I'm not creating a new copy like I would have the old way. And now I can let my group know, hey, I worked on this, can someone check it out? And I don't have to go into my email, type everyone's emails, and then send it out. All the collaborators will be listed right here. The final important thing I think in collaboration, so we have chat, in-text, we have comments, we have emailing collaborators, is the revision history. And this is where we have some accountability because we can see who made changes and we can see when they made changes. And you can see it doesn't look like we made many, but that's because at the bottom I can show more detailed. You can see every minute, and sometimes even more than every minute, changes are happening. And I can go and look at what it looked like back after that revision. And I can always restore it. And you might ask, well, if you restore that one, did I lose all the ones after that? Nope, it actually just stored this change as a brand new revision within all the revisions, which is pretty sweet. So I can always go back to my latest one. So you can see all these tools that Google's given us to work collaboratively, seamlessly. It makes the process of collaboration far more simple.